Hey everyone. So everyone's asleep in my house, which is amazing. It's quiet. And I'm going to attempt to talk with you about a couple of the kitchen products. This seemed to be, for me anyway, when I was first ordering, the most confusing. I looked through the catalog and I was sort of confused on what was what in terms of the kitchen products. So I want to talk about a couple of my favorites and just show them to you on the screen so you sort of know what the difference is. So first things first, I want to talk about the dishcloth. This is the weirdest thing ever. It is just like this sheer, it looks like a fishnet stocking, really. And I was really hesitant because it's just so different from what I'm used to. Now, a couple of the benefits of having something like this, it's almost like one of those, like it's thicker, but almost like a poofy that you would use in the shower. So you need very little soap. It has a way of really sudsing up. I don't use dish soap that creates a lot of bubbles anyway, but it definitely makes more bubbles even with my Young Living detergent, or I did get the Norwex detergent just to give that a try and see how I liked it. And you really don't need much at all. So the way you use this is you fold it, and I usually fold it kind of almost in the same shape that you would as a regular sponge. So it's got lots of layers and holes like a sponge would have as well. You just wet it, and really all I use is kind of just, this is almost gone, but just a little bit. That little bit I can do just about a full sink of dishes with that little teeny bit of soap. If I can move you over here, I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see this, but I do have a pan that I left sitting here. It hasn't been soaking or anything, and I specifically didn't wash it after dinner so you could see. My light isn't the best in here, but hold on, let me see if I can make the light a little brighter. The light's pretty bright behind me now, but you can kind of see this is a pretty gross pan. The stuff is on there pretty well. I mean, it's not rock solid or anything, but you can see it's pretty funky. So I haven't soaked this yet. I'm hoping it works well. Anyway, so I have that little teeny bit of soap on here, and just like anything else, you just sort of get in there and rub a little bit. You can see it's all coming right off. And the cool part, I'm not gonna do the whole pan. I guess I could just do the whole thing. So anyway, that's that. I kind of rubbed inside, and I'm gonna give it a rinse. And then I'll show you kind of the cool part about the cloth itself and why the fishnet thing is a good idea. This is just a regular stainless pan that can be a little hard to clean at times, but anyway, that cleans it out, cleans everything out really well. I missed a spot right there. Let me get that spot too. Anyway, works really well. I was shocked at how much I love these dishcloths. I really did not have high hopes, and I will be very honest. I have pitched all of my sponges. I had like a sponge on a stick. I got rid of that. I had the hand sponge. I had some dish rags. Even my Williams-Sonoma dishcloths do not stand up to this. So you can see how the stuff is like stuck into the cloth. This is the cool part about the cloth, and why I think one of the best benefits is that everything rinses right out of this. You just give it a quick rinse, and that's it. It's gone. Like, there's no chunks of food or anything. It does the same thing. I should get some peanut butter and show you that little trick. I don't know if you've ever tried to clean like peanut butter or almond butter with a sponge, but the stuff just gets like ground into the sponge. And with this, you don't have any of that. I mean, it's just clean. And then you either lay it over your dish rack to clean it, or you can lay it over your faucet like this. I mean, to dry it, not to clean it, but to dry it, and it dries so quickly, the next time you go to grab it, you'll find that it's dry already. So having all those holes really helps everything to dry quickly. These do not get stinky nearly as quick as the other, washcloth type. Now, I have seen this test elsewhere. I've never tried it myself, but I'm going to go ahead and do it and see if it's for real. So let's move you over here again. This is some flour, and I'm just going to sort of sprinkle it onto the counter. And I've seen this done with egg too, which I think is pretty crazy. But so you spill flour. You know what that would be like to pull up with a sponge. I wonder if you can see this. There's the flour. So with this, I mean, it really traps everything in the rag. You can see it's gone. Now, I would still hit this maybe with the EnviroCloth, if I had made a big mess, but in terms of how well it picks up, and you can see it all in here. I mean, it really traps everything extremely, extremely well. And again, when you're dealing with flour and water in a sponge, you can see it's like already getting like paste. It's thick and gluey. And with this rag, and with this dishcloth, and you just like rub it on itself a teeny bit. You don't need much. And that's it. It's gone. It rinses out so clean. You don't need to launder it after. I mean, if you do that with a regular kitchen sponge, that thing's trashed. You're throwing it in the garbage, or you're sitting there forever trying to scrub all of that out. And with this rag, that's it. It's gone. There's no signs of it. And all I did was a quick rinse. So I hope this is coming across. You can just see the little water bubbles, but the cloth itself is really clean. So I tend to grab it even to, pick up little spills like what you just saw. Now, again, this does not have the back lock. This isn't microfiber like the other ones. So I would still clean that area with one of my other cloths. But to get all of the particles up, this thing is amazing. It works extremely well for that. And I have seen an online demo of people doing that with peanut butter, with people doing it with a whole egg. Apparently this thing, I'm not going to bust open one of my expensive pasture-raised eggs. It costs too much, but I've seen people scoop up an entire egg with one of these, crack the egg on the counter, and literally just scoop the whole thing right up into the cloth. Anyway, so I love this cloth. This is probably, if I have to go like a top 3, this would be probably in the top 3. It would be a toss-up between, actually it would be. My top 3 would be the EnviroCloth would be number 1. The dishcloth would be number 2. And then the veggie cloth would be up there as well. And of course the window cloth. So I really have a top 4. I guess it would be hard to narrow it down to 3. But this, I just don't know how or why I didn't know about this before. Also, to clean this, all you do is pop it on the top rack of your dishwasher. I'll show you what that looks like. And you just run the dishwasher with the cloth on the top. And then you just run your regular dish cycle, and that's done. So, super easy to keep clean as well. And then to hang, you know, overnight or when you're done using it, I just find a spot to hang it. I have this little rack here, and I do like to make sure that it's kind of spread out and hung nicely because it dries quickly that way. So I just hang mine right there. Anyway, I love the thing. The other cloths that I find myself using all the time are the kitchen cloths. Now, it is microfiber, similar to the EnviroCloth, but you can see the difference in the weave. And this is really awesome for wiping the counters and wiping the table after everyone eats. Because of these ridges, it traps the crumbs in between, but it rinses much easier than the EnviroCloth. So for multiple times a day, instead of using the EnviroCloth every single time I wipe the counter or the table, this is what I go for. Simply because it really does rinse a lot easier, these ridges. If they trap little crumbs or things, you just sort of rub it a little and they come right out. It also grabs them when you're wiping the table. It really grabs the crumbs really nicely as well. So, and it's a good, easy size to manage. This actually is not a standard EnviroCloth that I have in my hand right here. This is the one with the magnet on it that I hang on the fridge. But it is substantially smaller than the EnviroCloth too, so it's a lot easier to handle. I just fold it in half and do my wiping with that. Then the dish towel, oh my gosh, like, I'm like, dish towels, yeah, who cares, right? I am telling you, I just don't want any other dish towels in my kitchen because they're pointless. Like, after you use one of these, you're like, oh, a towel that actually dries stuff. It's amazing. Anyway, these towels are fantastic. They're amazing on your hands, but drying dishes, these things are so absorbent. I have also seen some videos of people like putting this in a huge bowl of water and it just like sucks up all of the water. So I love these for drying dishes, for wiping, drying the counters, drying hands. It really, really is so much more absorbent than any other kitchen towel I have ever had. So I love this one as well. And you can see this is quite a bit larger than the kitchen cloth. So this is the kitchen cloth. It comes in a bunch of really cool colors. I have, it's a reddish, pomegranate is the color. I have a pomegranate one that's really pretty, and they came out with some teals and some other really pretty colors that I've been eyeballing. But I have a couple of these that I sort of rotate. So if one is in the wash, I have another one clean all the time. Okay, so that's the cloth, and this is the towel. And they come, there's a discount if you get a set. It comes in like you get a few dollars off.